From the Republic Media Network headquarters, it's time for Arnab Goswami on the debate. Arnab Goswami on the debate.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back in time now for the nation's sharpest opinion. And tonight, Omar Abdullah faces rebellion. He has an open revolt within his party from a member of parliament a few years younger to him, and his name is Aga Syed Ruhullah Mehdi. He is the National Conference member of parliament from Srinagar. Ladies and gentlemen, Aga Syed Ruhullah Mehdi is the National Conference MP from Srinagar and is planning to replace Omar Abdullah by striking his own pose within the party. I have no problem with that. That's between Omar and this Ruhullah Mehdi gentleman. They can have their own fight. I couldn't care less, frankly. I don't particularly agree with any of the things that Omar Abdullah says or does, so I don't care. But the point is not that. The point is that Omar Abdullah has been told he's too soft. This man, Aga Syed Ruhullah Mehdi, is such an opportunist that he gets elected on a National Conference ticket, goes to Parliament, swears by the Constitution of India, gets a salary paid for by you and me, and abuses the country. If he believed that the abrogation of 370 was wrong and he disagreed with it, then why did he fight the elections? He knew the rules he was bound by. The classical hypocrite will become a member of parliament, will earlier be a minister in Delhi, then worm his way up, get into the party. Tomorrow this man can even tie up with another political party or be a traitor within his own party or tie up with anyone else. But the issue is not this gentleman. When he says tourism is cultural invasion, I ask you, ladies and gentlemen, how can a member of parliament in this country, that also the member of parliament from Srinagar, say that tourism is cultural invasion? What is cultural invasion for this National Conference MP? Is the Tiranga hoisting in Lal Chowk a cultural invasion? West Pakistani refugees have been given the status of permanent residents. Is that a cultural invasion? Indians from every part of the country, every other state, are now able to witness the beauty and serenity of Kashmir. They contribute to the economy of Kashmir because they believe that Kashmir is an integral part of India. And we have the member of parliament from Kashmir saying it's cultural invasion. And we, in the name of democracy, are going to keep quiet and do nothing about it? Ladies and gentlemen, if Omar Abdullah cannot sack this member of parliament because he's weak, because he's being blackmailed, or he feels threatened by this MP, that is Omar Abdullah's personal problem. But we, the people of India, cannot have a member of parliament who compares India to Pakistan, who asks for state symbols different from national symbols, who says tourism is cultural invasion. I couldn't care less that he's rebelling against Omar Abdullah. That is his own problem, ladies and gentlemen. Let the both of them fight as much as they want, but the fact is both of them are going down and each one of them will pull the other down, and there will be a competition, I can predict, between Omar Abdullah and this member of parliament for who can talk more anti-national, anti-India language. If you've seen pictures of Omar Abdullah looking weak and helpless in the assembly of late, unsure, it is because he's being blackmailed on the path that he has already chosen to be on. You see, Omar Abdullah is competing with the ultra-radicals, the anti-nationals. And he hopes to become a moderate version of an anti-national. And Omar Abdullah, let me tell you this, there is no moderate anti-national. If you are a nationalist, which you should be, then swear by the Constitution of India, stop taking an anti-abrogation of 370 stand, call out this man Aga Syed Ruhullah Mehdi, who is protesting outside your own house, and take control of your party. If you can't, let one of you quit. Either Omar Abdullah quits because he cannot be Chief Minister and defend national interest, or this man quits, Aga Syed Ruhullah Mehdi, or we sack him because we can't have an MP from Srinagar who is an absolute and open anti-national. Ladies and gentlemen, let's debate.
A new wave of neo-separatism has emerged in India. Srinagar parliamentarian Aga Syed Ruhullah Mehdi is the latest in line of many leaders to legitimize separatist demands through democratic articulation. In a recent interview, the controversial parliamentarian from Srinagar was quoted saying things like the act of accession of Jammu and Kashmir to India was immoral, calling the rise of tourism in Jammu and Kashmir as cultural invasion. Not just that, he even went on to say that Omar Abdullah was not the chief minister, but he should be the chief rebel. He further brushed aside the Kashmiri Pandit genocide by saying that a lot of Muslims died too, and blood of Pandits was also spilled. This is certainly not the first time the Srinagar parliamentarian has taken a pro-separatist line and has been at the forefront of leading a neo-rebellion within the National Conference against Chief Minister Omar Abdullah for putting a full stop on the radical demand of restoration of Article 370.
हमारे इंडिविजुअल अगर किसी की कोई भी बात हो वो अपनी कह सकता है, वहाँ कोई वो रुकावट नहीं है. आपने देखा कि जनाब राहुल्ला साहब ने बडगाम की सीट पे उमर अब्दुल्ला साहब को कहा था आप यहाँ से लड़िए. ये गलत फहमी है, नाराज़गी नहीं होती, गलत फहमी है लोगों में कि शायद कोई इस किस्म की नाराज़गी चल रही है. ऐसी कोई बात नहीं है.
The BJP has questioned the intentions of the National Conference government.
ये एक फिक्स्ड मैच है बिटवीन राहुल्ला एंड अब्दुल्ला. इन्होंने बहुत सोच समझ के बाद एक गेम तैयार की है राहुल्ला साहब और अब्दुल्ला साहब ने कि हम इस सारे इशू को डिवेट करते हैं, डाइवर्ट करते हैं दूसरी तरफ जहां पे रिजर्वेशन की बात हो और आपस में एक तकरार दिखे ताकि लोग उन इश्यूज़ पे बात न करें जिन पर उन्होंने वादे किए थे. इसलिए एक फिक्स्ड मैच की तरह इस वक्त इनकी लड़ाई दिख रही है.
From election of terror funding accused Rashid engineer,
the vote to me was a referendum against Modi's policy, especially abrogation of Article 370 and 35A.
to pro-Khalistani elements like Amritpal Singh,
No peace can be established without weapons. We have to fight for our rights. We can't let everything slip away from our hand.
India is certainly witnessing a resurgence of neo-separatists who are attempting to capture the mainstream space with their radical agenda. But can members of parliament who have sworn an oath to protect the sovereignty of India take pro-separatist lines without any consequences?
Ashok Pandit is a proud nationalist voice, and Iftikhar Misgar and Dr. Peerzada are both pro-NC, but they have different positions. Dr. Peerzada, I think, majorly defends Omar Abdullah, and Iftikhar defends the Member of Parliament, Aga Syed Ruhullah Mehdi. If he's a Member of Parliament, he is sworn by the... First, he should, if he's going to be an anti-national, he should quit as MP. I think. Don't you think, Ashok? If he's going to abuse Indians, the government of India, say that tourism is cultural invasion, then decent thing is let him quit and do what he wants to. This man is so shameless, he won't even quit, Ashok. He should first quit. Shouldn't he, Ashok?
Arnab, you see, nobody can understand these politicians of Kashmir than a Kashmiri Pandit. We know what their real face is. Now, this guy called Aga has been a plant of Mr. Omar Abdullah. He has been told to take this kind of this kind of a line, so that the real face of Omar Abdullah comes to public. It's a very win-win situation for them. Because Umar Abdullah, as the chief minister, cannot take this aggressive line of pro-separatism, he has planted Agha Syed to say what the real National Conference is all about. National Conference and other political parties in Kashmir cannot be nationalists at any cost. We know their real face. Now this man is a plant. If he would have not gotten permission from Umar Abdullah or Farooq Abdullah, he has no guts to say what he's saying today. This exact entire language, all the lines which he is speaking against the country, against tourism, against 370, whatever he's been saying, is basically the voice of Mr. Umar Abdullah. And the
But isn't it
National
embarrassing,
Conference
Omar?
at
I mean,
large.
Ashok,
So I am-
Omar is looking so weak. I mean, you have his own MP abusing him, criticizing him, giving him guidance. Omar is looking very weak. So why I don't understand this logic that you're saying he's this plant. Iftikhar, what do you think? Is Omar planting him to do these things? Is Omar Abdullah telling him to abuse tourists, to attack Indian tourism, to compare India to Pakistan, to call tourism cultural invasion? Is the chief minister doing this? Can you unmute yourself, Iftikhar, for a moment?
Arnab, can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Thank you.
Yeah. The unfortunate part of the story here is, like, whenever Kashmiri have spoken or taken his fundamental rights on board, he has been called terrorist. That is unfortunate part. Whenever a Kashmiri nationalist who believes in idea of India.
What do you mean Kashmiri nationalist? 1 minute, 1 minute. What do you mean Kashmiri nationalist?
I said Indian.
What do you mean?
nationalist.
No,
Why?
you said Kashmiri
See,
nationalist.
You have always.
Please correct yourself. Don't say Kashmiri nationalist.
Because it is because of the people like Ashok Pandit, Kashmiri shawl owners are being beaten in Himachal Pradesh because you always treat us anti-nationals. When we have given our blood for this country.
He has proved to be an anti-national. He has proved to be an anti-national by calling.
No. My point is, I disagree with him. I'll tell you why. Iftikhar, Mehdi. 1 minute. I think that we must be clear. If the chief minister is egging this on, then it's a matter of great concern. If the chief minister is not egging this on, then he should sack him, because let's look at the.
Sack him, Arnab? What is wrong with Aga Ruhollah? Aga Ruhollah is talking about the fundamental rights. Aga Ruhollah is talking what Kashmir.
You cannot have a member of parliament asking for a plebiscite in Kashmir. Do you understand me? You cannot have a member of parliament asking for a plebiscite in Kashmir. Mehdi, 1 minute. Dr. Peerzada, Mehdi said plebiscite Junagadh में कराया गया क्योंकि वहाँ की अक्सरियत हिंदू थी और वहाँ प्लेबिसाइट कराना हिंदुस्तान के हक में था, पर कश्मीर पे प्लेबिसाइट नहीं कराया गया. He is claiming that the plebiscite was held in Junagadh because it was Hindu and it would swing in India's favor. I am asking you, if a member of parliament in my country asks for a plebiscite, that means he has a conflict in his mind about where Kashmir belongs. Kashmir belongs to India. Be clear. Kashmir, Peerzada and Iftikhar Misgar belong to India. You can't have an
Kashmir
MP.
belongs to India, and whatever Aga Ruhollah has said is perfectly all right. See, Arnab, you have a history to read. Go to the history. Whatever he said about Junagadh is true. Whatever he said is Hyderabad is 100%. And whatever he referred to Kashmir, that we were told that there will be an.
No, I find it dangerous. I find it dangerous. And Lalit Ambardar, I don't think we can allow this neo-separatist.
These people.
No. Let me go to Lalit. Lalit, this is a new form of neo-separatism.
One second, Arnab.
Yes.
Arnab, I think this is not neo-separatism. What you're witnessing now is the attempt to renew.
Don't take it up.
Renew the old tactics of this national conference, traditional national conference. You know, the founder of national conference, the patriarch, Sheikh Mohammed Abdullah, the original.
Hello, Mr. Did you ever raise a finger towards RSS?
He played this game with Jawaharlal Nehru. Able to illegal.
You have been always speaking against Kashmir. You have been always against national conference. You have been always against the
Yes, after to do. 1 minute, Dr. Peerzada, Dr. Peerzada, Mehdi is questioning Kashmir's accession to India. He's asking for a plebiscite. What is his intention and why is Omar Abdullah allowing this? Dr. Peerzada.
Good evening. Thank you for having this invite. I take this issue differently because I see it the tension that is rising up day by day between Agarullah Mehdi and vis-a-vis his party. It is basically it's a symptomatic of the tectonic shift in the political landscape of the Jammu and Kashmir. I take it like that way. And it reflects the tension within the region that is still grappling with the post or abrogation 370. So the ground is quite fertile. It is ripe for any political leader to catch on it. But at the same time, I add to this debate that Ruhullah Mehdi is a young leader. He has a very good standing among his followers. I do have a respect for him. They are the divergent. They are the divergence between.
No, he's asking for mass anarchy. Dr. Peerzada, let me go to Iftikhar and Iftikhar. Now, Iftikhar, please, Iftikhar, he's saying there should have been a mass protest against the abrogation of Article 370. He's calling for mass anarchy. He's trying to delegitimize an elected central government. He's trying to dilute the authority and sanctity of the decision taken by the parliament. You have an MP who's calling for violence. You have an MP who's calling for violence. This is not what an MP is supposed to do.
Arnab, when 2 times MP Karan Singh, Dr. Karan Singh says
Arnab,
the same.
He should have
Why don't you
for
take it?
elections.
Why don't these RSS
He should have
people
not stood
who
for
are
elections.
the guys with
He
the,
has taken an oath. He has taken an oath on the Constitution of India.
They discuss on that?
And Constitution of India has eradicated,
they have an agenda.
Article 370.
These two Kashmiri Pandits have an agenda.
Constitution of India
When they are
has
not being
eradicated,
accepted by
abolished
the
Article
Kashmiri Pandits in
370.
general.
So he
The
cannot
Kashmiri
criticize
Pandits
or
in
he
general
cannot
are
ask
not
for demand
accepting
for
these
getting
two guys.
back Article
When
370.
Dr.
It's a
Karan
crime.
Singh can
It's a crime.
same
And secondly, Mr. Ali,
when Agarullah Mehdi, whose father was
how can he as an
assassinated by
MP,
terrorists,
who as an MP of this country, India, how can he call the tourists as invaders?
He is a terrorist.
How can he call tourists as invaders? On what basis is he calling the tourists as invaders? He is no less than a terrorist, and that's why he should be called. He should be action should be taken against him as action.
We come across lots of heart attacks nowadays.
Ali साहब आप सुन नहीं रहे हैं?
पानी पियो. Don't shout.
अरे
Don't
इसका
shout.
साहब आप सुन नहीं रहे हैं? हार्ट अटैक आप
Keep your age in consideration. Don't
आप
shout.
अपना ख्याल रखिए. I'm not
अपना
shouting,
ख्याल रखो.
I'm
अपनी
questioning
उम्र
you.
का ख्याल रखो.
How can
Please,
a member of
I am
parliament
hand holding
who
you,
has
telling you,
taken an oath
hold
from
on your
Indian
breath.
Constitution
Take care of your health.
say
Why don't you
that Article
shout on?
370
Why don't you shout on
has
Karan
been
Singh's son?
eradicated
Why don't you?
by
Why?
the Constitution of
Maharaja
India?
Hari Singh's
If
son,
Constitution
when
of
he
India
speaks about
has
370
eradicated
article, when he
370,
speaks about
why is he
35A,
promoting
when he
and
speaks
why is he
about
supporting
land rights,
Article 370?
geographical
As
rights of
simple
Jammu
as
and
that.
Kashmir?
And how dare
Why he is not an international?
he
Why
call
Agarullah Mehdi,
Yes, let's-
who
as invaders?
holds the
Who has given
credibility
them
in
the right
Indian
to
nation?
call
Why
Indian
he is
tourists as invaders?
targeting as an
How can he call
international?
Indian
This is
tourists as
hypocrisy.
invaders?
This
Who
is
he?
hypocrisy.
Who has given
This
him
is
the right
ultimate
to call Indian
hypocrisy.
tourists as
This is
invaders?
We have a situation because Omar Abdullah's member of parliament, Omar Abdullah's member of parliament has called Indian tourists invaders, cultural invaders. Now, Omar Abdullah, in my view, has no right to remain quiet on this.
He should be arrested.
He believes that he'll remain quiet, look the other way. He has to clear the air. Where does he himself stand on it? Yes, please. Lalit.
How can you call an Indian tourist and Indian citizens as invaders?
Lalit.
Forget
What I was referring to, this purported dichotomy is only to befool us Indians. They are using the Indian constitution, Indian democratic system to sabotage from within.
Why don't you question Dr. Karan Singh also?
Akbar was a member of parliament of Conference of Baramulla in parliament last Lok Sabha. That man was member of Speaker of Assembly. You know what he did in the assembly? He rented the slogan of Pakistan Zindabad right in the live assembly. And what does Sheikh Abdullah and Farooq Abdullah do? Nothing. And they award him with a ticket to Lok Sabha.
Court on that. He apologized on that. You went to court. You went to Supreme Court for that. He apologized for same. Why you are crying now when he apologized for his mistake?
भावुक हो गया. And Mahdi, from day one, the patriarch Farooq Abdullah, you know, when he won this election from the Srinagar constituency, he went around and told Kashmiri Muslims in Kashmiri that this man you have elected, he's going to speak for Kashmiri Muslims as well as the Muslims of the rest of India.
Do you know, Mr. Sacrifices of Agarullah Mahdi?
Quick.
Do you know his
He was very open about it. He was very open about it.
Have you ever heard?
Nobody said. First interview, he said, I, 1995. And when the journalist asked him, he said, no, I belong to the society and this will happen. This is what they want to do. They want to revive the Kashmir Jihad, revive the genocide of Kashmiri Hindus in full flesh, full throttle. And don't forget, when they were competing, the election campaign was Islamism.
It is Bharatiya Janata Party who is putting the blanket on your exodus.
You know for whom?
Janata Party who is putting the blanket. Agarullah always talks about your exodus. Agarullah talks always about Kashmiri Pandits. Agarullah always talks about the fundamental rights of the people of Jammu and Kashmir. Agarullah talks about the reservation rights of the people of Jammu and Kashmir.
Ashok, his audio is not clear. Ashok.
On behalf of
India. He never spoke about exodus, and we don't want him to talk about us. We don't want any anti-national to talk about Kashmiri Pandit genocide. We better not talk about us because he is responsible for my exodus.
You want me to tell you? 1 minute. Viewers, 1 minute. Iftikhar, let me tell you what this neo-separatist, Mehdi MP has said. He said that Muslims could not have saved Pandits. He said Muslim majority उस हालत में नहीं थी कि वो किसी की जान बचा सके. उनकी अपनी जान ली जा रही है. मुसलमानों का कत्ल ज़्यादा हो रहा है. He says Kashmiri Muslims were killed more than Kashmiri Pandits.
जो भी हिंदुस्तान के खिलाफ AK-47 उठाएगा उसको तो मरना.
This is what he has said.
What kind of comparison is this? What kind of comparison is this?
Please on it.
What kind of comparison is this?
Ask them don't heckle. Ask them not to heckle. See, whatever he said there were two guns in between.
What kind of comparison you are talking about?
I'm expecting an announcement from...
Two guns, and we are unfortunate that we couldn't save our Kashmiri brother. He said, I am sorry, and I must say honestly sorry to my Kashmiri Pandits that we couldn't save them. What is wrong in that? Why are you judging him in a wrong perspective? Why you are making a narrative for Agarullah Mahdi?
You are responsible.
When
you are responsible. We don't want crocodile tears. We don't want crocodile tears. We are not crocodile. We don't want crocodile tears. You are responsible for my genocide.
He is a nationalist.
You kill us, you rape us, you throw us out, and then say that we can't save him.
Whose father became the victim of terrorism.
And then you can't save him.
Who has sacrificed his childhood for terrorism and for Indian democracy, the Agarullah who stood for India in Jammu and Kashmir, and today you are giving him a name of an anti-national shame. Shame on you, Ashok Pandit. How do you call yourself Kashmir?
No, we don't want crocodile tears. We don't want crocodile tears to talk about us. We are not interested. The truth prevails. The truth prevails. You are responsible for my genocide and ethnic cleansing. You and your people are responsible. So don't spread this crocodile tears on us. We are not interested.
Who stood for
we
your
are fighting
survival?
our own battle and
we
know how to fight our battle.
Now this doesn't look nice.
Don't shed crocodile tears on us. Don't shed.
Have you ever
You are
spoken against
responsible.
RSS?
You are
No, not a
responsible
single
for my
word.
genocide and exodus. Okay? And you have no right to call my tourists as
You will
invaders.
never utter a word.
Tourists as invaders cannot be spoken about. Kashmir is part of India and will always remain to be part of India.
Who doubts
or anybody
it?
talking
Who doubts
against
it?
it.
You have a
Anybody
doubt. I don't have any
asking for
doubt.
against eradication of
India
370.
India is me and I am India.
370 is not possible.
India is me and
so
I am
you
India.
As a member
Ladies
of
and gentlemen, I have a breaking news input coming in. I'm going live full frame to the pictures from Canada, where any point of time now, I'm told Justin Trudeau could be resigning. Viewers, within a year of taking on the Indian government, he has such rising discontent over his leadership that I have reports that Justin Trudeau will be resigning, and this was expected about 4 minutes back. That is the door where he's supposed to come out from, and he will be resigning as the head of the Liberal Party. There will be no head of the Liberal Party then, and the Conservatives are going to sweep the elections. His popularity rating is really, really low. It's in the 20s. In fact, less than 25% of Canadians believe that he should be re-elected. The only party that had been backing Justin Trudeau, which is Jagmeet Singh's New Democratic Party, pulled out support, and that was a huge setback for him. And Jagmeet announced that he was ready to declare a loss of confidence in his government. And then Justin Trudeau's own party members lost confidence after Trump's 51st governor of US remark. Remember, Trump put down Justin Trudeau by introducing him as Governor Justin Trudeau of Canada. Trudeau had gone to seek Trump's help. Trump, in fact, ended up mocking him. And ladies and gentlemen, all of this is happening principally as a one-year rollout of the impact that taking on the Indian government has had. Justin Trudeau is a pro-Khalistani politician who thought that taking an anti-India line, a pro-Khalistani line, a pro-Khalistani terrorism line would help him hang on to power, and that was his clear intent. And Justin Trudeau is this really privileged, elitist figure. Many people compare him to leaders from the Vadra Congress here in India, who's been an absolute disaster as a leader. Today, we are waiting for the live announcement of his resignation. This is going to be a moment I would say, where many Indians will consider themselves proven right. And Justin Trudeau's record has straightforward, ladies and gentlemen, been that of a pro-Khalistani leader. In recent times, ladies and gentlemen, we have an announcement there. I think he will be coming any time now. They are preparing for his resignation announcement. I think my producers will tell me anytime which guests I have live with me. And that's coming up in a minute. And Shiv Bhaskar is with me. He's president of the Overseas Friends of India, Canada. He's live from Ottawa. Shiv, you're expecting this announcement soon now? Any last-minute thoughts ahead of the formal briefing?
Be announcing fairly soon. He's waiting to come out, and I believe he's gonna resign as a leader of a Liberal Party, and maybe not as a prime minister. So he will be in the interim as a prime minister and attending the president of Trump, his inauguration on January 20th. So that will go on in the meantime. I think he'll leave a legacy behind, where he was a prime minister for 9 years. And, in the beginning, he did bring his Liberal Party into, first time when he won it with a majority, and the second time when he got a minority, it was a more of a challenging situation. And since then, his popularity has gone down tremendously. And the Conservatives, if an election was to happen today, Conservative would get a major majority right now.
But if he quits as, he's going to be coming out. If he quits as head of the Liberal Party, what does that make him in effective terms? I mean, is lame duck prime minister?
Well, basically what
less?
will happen, that will allow for the party to start the process to have its leadership convention. So they will start the process. There's like rules that they have to follow, and they will elect a new leader. And for that, they need to go certain processes, which I'm not totally familiar with. But that's why. And then they're going to prorogue the parliament until, I believe, March 24th, and that will give them some opportunity at that time to run their leadership convention, and it'll be a very short one, very quick one. It doesn't give you a hell of a lot of time. And then they will have a new leader, and then they probably will call the election. And then Liberal will have a new leader who will be representing in the next prime minister election as a prime minister face.
And what about the Khalistani lobbies? Where do they stand right now? He's been so strongly pro-Khalistan.
Yeah, I mean, that's not something that is going to be remembered very nicely. He has totally destroyed the relationship between India and Canada because of that. And I think there was too much noise there. It's really a non-issue as far as economy of Canada goes, as far as, building relationships with the other countries goes. It was a lot of noise. And I think that's
I think
what
Trudeau's coming out right now. Let's listen in.
Sure.
So I thought it might be fun for us to do this again. Bon matin. Every morning I've woken up as Prime Minister. I've been inspired by the resilience, the generosity, and the determination of Canadians. It is the driving force of every single day I have the privilege of serving in this office. That is why, since 2015, I've fought for this country, for you, to strengthen and grow the middle class. Why we rallied to support each other through the pandemic, to advance reconciliation, to defend free trade on this continent, to stand strong with Ukraine and our democracy, and to fight climate change and get our economy ready for the future. We are at a critical moment in the world. Mes chers Canadiens, à chaque matin, je me suis réveillé en tant que Premier ministre, inspiré par la résilience, la générosité et la détermination qui nous caractérisent si bien en tant que Canadiens. C'est ce qui me motive à chaque jour où j'ai le privilège de servir dans ce poste. C'est pourquoi, depuis 2015, je me suis battu pour ce pays, pour vous, pour renforcer la classe moyenne. Pourquoi nous nous sommes mobilisés en tant que Canadiens pour se soutenir les uns les autres pendant la pandémie, pour faire progresser la réconciliation, pour défendre le libre-échange sur notre continent, pour notre soutien inébranlable de l'Ukraine et de la démocratie, et pour lutter contre les changements climatiques et préparer l'économie de l'avenir. Nous traversons vraiment un moment critique dans le monde. My friends, as you all know, I'm a fighter. Every bone in my body has always told me to fight because I care deeply about Canadians, I care deeply about this country, and I will always be motivated by what is in the best interest of Canadians. And the fact is, despite best efforts to work through it, Parliament has been paralyzed for months after what has been the longest session of a minority parliament in Canadian history. That's why this morning I advised the Governor-General that we need a new session of Parliament. She has granted this request, and the House will now be prorogued until March 24th. Over the holidays, I've also had a chance to reflect and have had long talks with my family about our future. Throughout the course of my career, any success I have personally achieved has been because of their support and with their encouragement. So last night over dinner, I told my kids about the decision that I'm sharing with you today. I intend to resign as party leader, as Prime Minister, after the party selects its next leader through a robust, nationwide, competitive process. Last night, I asked the President of the Liberal Party to begin that process. This country deserves a real choice in the next election, and it has become clear to me that if I'm having to fight internal battles, I cannot be the best option in that election. Mes chers amis, comme vous savez, je suis un fighter. Dans mon fort intérieur, je me suis toujours battu parce que je me soucie profondément des Canadiens. Et je serai toujours motivé par ce qui est dans le meilleur intérêt des Canadiens. Et le fait est que malgré tous les efforts déployés pour passer à travers, le Parlement est paralysé depuis des mois, après ce qui a été la plus longue session d'un Parlement minoritaire dans l'histoire de notre pays. C'est pourquoi ce matin, j'ai rencontré la gouverneure générale pour lui faire savoir que nous avions besoin d'une nouvelle session du Parlement. Elle a accédé à ma demande et la Chambre sera donc prorogée jusqu'au 24 mars. Pendant le temps des fêtes, j'ai également eu l'occasion de réfléchir et d'avoir de longues conversations avec ma famille quant à notre avenir. Tout au long de ma carrière, tout le succès que j'ai eu personnellement est dû à leur soutien et à leurs encouragements. Donc hier soir, au souper, j'ai partagé avec mes enfants la décision que je partage avec vous tous aujourd'hui. J'ai l'intention de démissionner de mon poste de chef du Parti libéral du Canada et de Premier ministre une fois que le parti aura choisi son prochain chef à l'issue d'un processus national, rigoureux et compétitif. Hier soir, j'ai demandé au président du parti de commencer les étapes nécessaires. Le pays mérite un choix clair et réel lors des prochaines élections. Il est devenu évident pour moi que si je dois me concentrer sur des batailles internes, je ne peux pas être la meilleure option lors de ces élections. Le Parti libéral du Canada est une institution importante dans l'histoire de notre grand pays et de notre démocratie. Un nouveau premier ministre et chef du parti portera les valeurs et les idées du Parti libéral dans la prochaine élection. J'ai hâte d'observer le déroulement de ce processus dans les mois à venir. Nous avons été élus pour la 3e fois en 2021 pour renforcer l'économie après la pandémie et faire progresser les intérêts du Canada dans un monde complexe. Et c'est exactement ce que je vais continuer à faire, ce que nous allons continuer à faire pour les Canadiens. The Liberal Party of Canada is an important institution in the history of our great country and democracy. A new Prime Minister and leader of the Liberal Party will carry its values and ideals into that next election. I'm excited to see the process unfold in the months ahead. We were elected for the 3rd time in 2021 to strengthen the economy post-pandemic and advance Canada's interests in a complicated world. And that is exactly the job that I and we will continue to do for Canadians. Merci beaucoup, mes amis.
Thank you, Prime Minister. We'll now go to questions, starting with Laurence Martin, Radio-Canada.
Bonjour, Monsieur Trudeau. Vous vouliez le faire, ce combat contre Pierre Poilievre. Des batailles internes, il y en a dans votre parti depuis.
Okay, so that's the official announcements. You're going to have Q&As right now. Let me get in some analysts in. Peter Kuznick, Director of Nuclear Studies at the Institute of American University at Washington. Peter, expected lines? Some said he would quit only as Liberal Party chief, but he's also quit as Prime Minister. When did his luck begin to run out in your view? Did he have any options left?
Well, his luck started to run out when Trump got elected, but it ran out much more strongly when the pandemic hit. You have to put this in a global context. And it's not as if Trudeau is somehow an aberration. What we're seeing across the world right now is a reaction against almost all incumbents, but especially more liberal or social democratic incumbents. And what people are opting for is more conservative, more right-wing governments. I think they're going to regret it. There's going to be a vast buyer's remorse. But what's happened recently, especially with Chrystia Freeland's resignation and Donald Trump's victory, is that Trudeau came to Mar-a-Lago and groveled. Trump mocked him. Trump mocked Canada. And that was an insult on top of, the other issues. They've got real issues. They had problems with inflation, but those seem to have largely subsided now. Inflation is under 2%. They had serious problems with dealing with the pandemic. They had pretty strict policies, and the public has reacted against that. They did open the door to immigration, and that was partly in response to what Trump was doing. So when Trump cracked down, Trudeau, I think in a very positive way, opened the door. But what we've seen over and over again is that that policy ultimately backfires because right-wing populists are able to exploit it. And it happened in Canada as well. So in some ways, Trudeau is paying the price for having done a lot of good things. But
he's got a bit of a, I don't know about image, but I don't know, maybe we in India look at it particularly from the perspective of his having been one of the greatest supporters of Khalistani terrorism, and that is our skew. That's how we look at it. You see, Jeff, I'd like to go to Jeff Bellinger next, who's joining us, I think, from Toronto. Jeff, how are you viewing this? We in India are looking at this as good riddance to a Prime Minister who was clearly pro-Khalistani terrorists from our perspective. How is it being viewed there?
This is a great day for Canada. You know, the Canada that I remember 10 years ago before Trudeau is completely different than the one I know today. Our country is poorer, our country is dirtier, our country is more dangerous, our country is in need of a comeback. And so I think this is a fantastic news for the country. You know, time will tell about what happens next in terms of how the Liberals decide to replace Trudeau and in what fashion. But this is great news for the country. Not only is Trudeau, you know, he didn't even get to go to the ballot box. He is getting pushed out by his party. It's a humiliating end to his premiership.
Rakesh Tiwari is a journalist based out of Brampton. Rakesh, you know, will this change the policy of the government or the Ottawa's policy regarding Khalistani groups?
I will say it has started a bit prior to that. You can say that since last 2-3 years, his whole time period was like that. When you talk about the Khalistan, so the legitimate questions was raised by Indo-Canadian community, and he has disregarded it. His father was known for bringing the multiculturalism in 1984 and bringing the Charter of Rights, and so I will say the Indo-Canadians who are living in Canada, they are not only Indo-Canadians, and majority of the immigrants, they were siding with the Liberals up to a time. But this time, anybody and everybody is, as my previous person has said, that everybody is happy. Put it this way, this uncertainty is over now. Now we know that Justin Trudeau is, as is disliked by his own caucus member as well. So he was prolonging as much as possible. But I think he couldn't bear anymore. But I will totally agree with this point that 16th of December, when Chrystia Freeland, who was the Deputy Prime Minister, as well as the Finance Minister, she was known as Justin Trudeau's strongest hand. She was always by his side. And when he threw her away, that was his going down towards the hill.
He's literally taken on everyone. I wonder who he is not taken on. In the last 16 months, we were calculating since he became this irrational kind of person. You know, he had a grudge against Prime Minister Narendra Modi, behaves very badly, made a lot of enemies, virtually took on every group out there. Anis Faruqi, how do you view this? Anis, he's a journalist based in Canada. Anis.
Arnab, basically I agree with my friends that Canada is happy that Mr. Trudeau, who was not performing well, is no more. From Canadian point of view, it has nothing to do with any external factor of Khalistan or Modi ji or anything. Liberal Party was recently like a house of cards falling apart, and
he was using what he perceived to be a battle with India. He was using it to position himself.
On the foreign front, yes, but this is not the cause.
No, from a political domestic front, I meant. Let me get Shiv on this. Wasn't he doing that, Shiv? Was Justin Trudeau not using his sort of fight with the Indian government, fight with Modi, to position himself to get Khalistani votes, to appeal to certain sections in Canada?
Yeah, if you look at his foreign policy, I think he miserably failed not only with India, but also with China and also with the United States, and also with Saudi Arabia. I mean, the relationships that we had previous to Justin Trudeau with those countries was much, much better. And then, for whatever reason, I don't think he understood the bigger things of the foreign relations, the international trade. And the funny thing is, Canada is a trading nation. We export almost 80% of everything we make. So that should be first. I don't think he put Canada first, and he started putting his personal, whatever, if he did like somebody, his personal interest first. And I think that was his downfall. And once he dug that hole, especially with respect to the Khalistani issue, he went further and further, and he didn't know how to get out of it. And that's made situation, not only like Canadians knew what he was doing, even the world didn't know what to expect from Canada and what their stand was. So this confusion actually hurt us in good standing all over the world, and also in relation to when we were negotiating trade agreements. I mean, North American Free Trade Agreement was a great, great trade agreement. And then when he came in, when Trump was there first time, he opened it. And he squeezed out a lot of benefits in his favor. Now he's saying the same thing. I'm going to come in, I'm going to put 25% tariff on all Canadian goods. And when Justin went to see him, and he referred to him as a governor, that's an insult. So I agree with what the panelists have said, is that this guy, as far as foreign policy went, international trade goes, it was not, beacon to be held up. He was probably the worst, I would say, prime minister as far as international trades went.
Absolutely. Well, I think Rakesh wanted to come in there. I'm very keen, Rakesh, to get a sense of how this is going to be viewed by the Indian community in Canada.
They will be in much more relief, I'll say that, because we were facing, our temple attacks, and, those people who appreciate India, they were proud of coming from India, and they are living here. So they are very, very happy in that way, because let me say that on 4th of June 2023, when late Prime Minister Indira Gandhi's whole thing, cargo was going on, and he has not condemned it, while his opposition leader, Pierre Poilievre, has condemned it. So Indian community is going to take, will be very, very happy, Indo-Canadians who are here. I will say that, since the beginning, his situation became a bit, I will say, imbalanced during the COVID period, because when he was giving the payment to all the Canadians. And even that time I really thought about it, when in 2021 he has declared the midterm election. There was no need, he didn't get anything. Over $500 million Canadians has to pay for the midterm election for his own gain. And he was in another scandals too before about his minister. Plus, during the COVID period too, when he was giving all the students, he was giving the money through his one of the business partner, you can say, where he was actually with the legal, framework. He was put in that way that he has a conflict of interest. His finance minister at that time, if I'm not wrong here, Bill Murrow, has resigned as well. And the organization where he got problem with the WIN, where his mother was going and giving the lectures, he has put, I think, if I'm not wrong, in $90 million or $100 million. That was the issue. But definitely, let me say that Indo-Canadian, or every Canadian, wherever I go, being in media, people say, Mr. Tiwari, when Justin Trudeau is going down, when Justin Trudeau is going down. So everybody, I will say, all the Canadians, they are going to be happy.
Okay, Jeff, quick word from you. What happens in the transition now in Canada?
We don't know. That's going to be up to the Liberal Party to decide about how they choose their next leader. All that we know is that the House is prorogued, the House is suspended until March 24th, after which we'll see if the Liberal Party can make some sort of deal with the Socialist NDP to prop them up, or whether there'll be a quick vote of non-confidence and we're plunged into an election. It's going to be up to the Liberal Party to decide how they choose their next leader. There's going to be lots of infighting. I think it's every step the Liberals take from here on in is a step into a rake. It's not going to get better for them. It's only going to get worse.
Yeah, it won't help them in the election. So we are seeing a complete political change coming up in Canada. Thank you very much, gentlemen, for that. And as I come to the end of the debate, let's record and summarize with Note Assist using Galaxy AI on Samsung Galaxy Z Fold 6. Justin Trudeau's resignation marks the inevitable end of a leadership tarnished by plummeting approval ratings, internal party discord, and growing public dissatisfaction, with his ally Jagmeet Singh pulling out support sometime back, escalating corruption scandals, and worsening economic crisis from skyrocketing housing costs to rampant inflation. His departure reflects the collapse of his political credibility and the urgent call for change in Canada's governance. Ladies and gentlemen, and there you have it, the precise reading of the debate in a simpler format using Galaxy AI on Samsung Galaxy Z Fold 6. Thank you very much for tuning in. Good night and goodbye.
Arnab will be right back with the debate.
Amity has been ranked India's #1 private university in the recently released Education World Rankings, a testimony to Amity's globally benchmarked standards in education.
Thank you.